Hello, my friends. Today we're learning Mציעא, Daf Kuf Yud Aleph. It's very important sugyas about paying your workers on time. Let's start from Kuf Yud Amud Beis from the Mishnah. And so the first part of the Mishnah talks about what we spoke until now, someone who rents a field. And the end part of the Mishnah is a different subject, and it's really interesting why the Mishnahs put these two subjects in one Mishnah. It says a Mishnah, someone who gets a field from his friend, he rents it from him, l'shavua echod, for one shavua. Shavua is not a week, it's a period of 7 years. The shvamoy zuz, and they agreed on the rent will be 700 zuz. Ashvis, the Shemitah year, min minyan. We don't say, we don't count the Shemitah year because you can't use the field there. No, because he said a shavua, that's a period of 7 years. It's like saying a week, and you don't say a week is without Shabbos. So it's the same idea, and therefore Shemitah is also included in the cheshbon. Kiblo imenu sheva shonim. If the agreement was I'm renting it for 7 years, for 700 zuz, so now it's lefi years. It's not lefi a period of 7 years. It's lefi each year separately. Ein hashvis min minyan. So truly for 8 years, because shvis I can't use a field, and we're talking about years. When I said years, I meant 7 years. I could use a field. Now the Mishnah jumps to a different subject of paying workers on time. So the Mishnah says, someone who was a worker for the day, he starts from the morning till gets dark. Goyve kol halaylo. You have to pay him that night, and he finishes in the shkia, you have to pay him that night until the morning. Schir laylo, if his job was at night and he finishes in the morning, you have to pay him by the end of the day. Schir shois, so now there's two ways how to learn this part of the Mishnah. I'm going to go like Rav in the Gemara. Schir shois, someone who's paid for hours, let's say for half a day, so it depends. It said the Mishnah, that means if he finishes in the night, he gets paid until the end of the night. The in the case where he finished in the day. Schir Shabbos, someone who is working for a week. Schir Chodesh for a month. Schir Shona, a year. Schir Shavua, 7 years. Yotza Bayom, if he finishes his job at the day, Goyve Kol Hayom, you have to pay him by the end of the day. Yotza Balaylo, if he finishes at night, Goyve Kol Halaylo, V'Kol Hayom. And we're going to see because L'chora, the day goes after the night, so if he finishes in the middle of the night, it's like a Schir Shois. We're going to see already in the Gemara, but the night goes after the day. How do we know that someone who works in the day, you have to pay him by the end of the night? Don't leave the worker's payment until the morning. Don't sleep over it. That means pay him until the morning. How do you know that someone who worked at night, then he finishes his job in the morning, they pay him all the day, because it says in the day, titin schorek. Another pasuk that tells you should pay on the day. Maybe the opposite. Maybe someone who works at night, you have to pay him all the night, and someone who works on the day, you have to pay him all the day. So the Gemara, no. When do you need to pay the worker? When does the chiyuv to pay him start? When he finishes his job? So if he worked all day, it can't be you have to pay him on the day, because he only finishes his job at the end of the day, and that's already night. So it must be that you have to pay him all night. And if he did work that night, when do you start have to paying him in the morning when he finishes his job? So it must be that b'yoyim titin schorek. Rabbanon learned mimashma shenema. From it's in the pasuk, lo yisolin pula sochi itcha. It says you shouldn't sleep with the payment that you need to pay your worker with you. Lo yisolin means not to sleep. So it means obviously till the morning. Why did the pasuk continue and says until the morning? Melamed, it's coming to tell you that only the first morning is over. That means a schir yom that you meant to pay him until the next morning. He finished his job in the shkia, now you have to pay him all night till the morning. So the first day they never paid him, you're over lo yisolin. But at boiker is coming to tell you only the first boiker. The next day they never paid him, you're not over anymore. Says more, what happens if you don't pay him from here onwards? That means not to, if you have money and you owe it to someone, you're not allowed to keep it by you. Omar Rav Yosef Micro, where the Romuz, where the hint for this in the Torah that there's such a Issa of Baltasha, because they don't say Baltasha anywhere in the Torah. So the Gemara, it's in the Pasuk in Mishlei, don't tell your friend who you owe him something, oh, I'll give you tomorrow, I'll give you the next day, really you have already the money. Give it to him already straight away when you have the money. So we could see a remez from the Nach that there is the Issa of Baltasha. Someone tells his friend, go get from your workers, both of them, if they don't pay on time, they're not over the Issa. The owner, the one who they're doing the work by him, he never rented them. And the one who rented them, they're not doing the job by him. What's the case? If the messenger went and told his workers, I'm in charge for paying you schar love, he's in charge to pay them, and if he doesn't pay them on time, it's over Baltolin. Who the Tanya that we learned, if I go to work and I tell him, come to a job in my field, and I take him to my friend's field, I have to pay him the full amount I agreed with him, because it's my obligation, because I told him he's doing a job by me. And then I could go back to the person, to my friend's field, who owned the field, and tell him, listen, I gave you a no of so much, it might be a bit less than the worker's payment, but he has to pay him that. But we could see the responsibility of the person who closed the deal with the workers. So why are they not over Baltolim? So the more it's talking about the Omalahu, that the messenger told the Poelim, Balabais is going to pay you your wages. So therefore, he's not mechuyev of Baltolim because he said the Balabais is going to pay, and Balabais is not mechuyev because he never agreed with them to pay. Obviously, he needs to pay, but he's not over the Baltolim. Tell the Gemara, Yudah bar Mareimar Omale Lishmaya, he told his Shamish, Zil Ogli Poyalim, go rent for me workers, ve'emalu, and tell them Schorchem al Balabais, that the Balabais, Rav Yudah Mareimar, will pay you, and therefore we won't be over Baltolin if we don't pay them on time. Tell the Gemara, Mareimar Marzutri Agri Ladodi, when one of them needed workers, his friend, if let's say Mareimar needed workers, so Mazutra would go get the workers, and he grouped them that Mareimar is going to pay, and if Marzutra needed workers, so Mareimar agreed with the Poelim and he said Marzutra is going to pay, and therefore there's no chashash that they'll be over of Baltolim. Omar Rava, the question is if there's also a mitzvah like we're going to see later on, that there's a mitzvah b'yoyim and schori, or they still mekayim the mitzvah in such a case or not, because maybe they're missing a mitzvah out. Said the Gemara, Omar Rabba Barav Huna, Anishukoi de Surah, these people who work in the market of Surah, Loi Avri Mishum Baltolin. So these people, they had, let's say, a basta, like a stand in the market of Surah, and they need workers to help them set up the stand, etc. And it was very clear, like we're going to see, that they're only going to get paid when the market day comes, and the owner, the boss, is going to make money from what he's selling, then he's going to pay his workers. So if they don't pay on time after they finish their work, they know about Baltolin. Why? The people who go rented for the job, they know they know that they're only going to get paid on the day of the market. But the Mishum Baltasha, if the day of the market comes and he doesn't pay them. And Rashi explained that Baltolin, even at the day of the market, because Baltolin, once the first day is over, we learned before that once the first day is over and you never paid and you're allowed not to pay, or you're over, that's it, the Issa is not chal again. And therefore, since the first day wasn't chayav because it was clear that he's going to pay the day of the market, there's no Bal Tolin. The day of the market came and he didn't pay, there's the Issa of Bal Tashe. Schir shois goy v'kol halayla v'chol hayoyim. Omar Rav, says Rav, schir shois diyoyim, someone who's worked a few hours in the day, goy v'kol hayoyim, you need to pay him by the end of the day. Schir shois dilayla, someone who worked a few hours at night, you have to pay him by the end of the night. If he did a few hours in the day, you have to pay him by the end of the day. If he did a few hours work at night, you have to pay him all the night, until the end of the day, until the Shkia. And Rashi over here explains because the day goes after the night. But the night doesn't go after the day, and that's why you can pay him by the end of the day and not, you can't wait till the morning. Now, we learned in our Mishnah, someone is getting paid per hour for a few hours. Goy v'kol halaylo v'kol hayoim. Tiyuvtu Rav Bishlim, Lefi Shmuel is going to say it's talking about schir shoyis delaylo. But Lefi Rav, no one gets paid. No one has two days, a night and a day to pay him. So what is it talking about? It's a cash on Rav. Like we explained in the Mishnah, it's separate. It's two cases in the Mishnah. If he's rented for a few hours in the day, you have to pay him all day until the Shkia. You have to pay him until the morning. Now, we learned in the Mishnah, if he was a worker of a week, of a month, a worker for a year, a worker for 7 years, so Yotze Bayom, if he finishes his job in the day, Goy v'kol hayom. Yotze Balaylo, if he finishes his job in the night, Goy v'kol halaylo v'kol hayom. So Bishleima Lefi Shmuel fits in very good. So when he finishes, that's like a schir shoyis who finishes his job in the middle of the day. So in the day you give him all the day, and in the night you give him all the night and all the day. But Lefi Rav, you never give him all the night and all the day. So what's pshat? This Mishnah is not like me, but it's a machlokes Tanoim, and I hold like the other Tana, the Tanya, like we learned in the Brayso, schir shoyis diyoim, goy v'kol hayoim, schir shoyis delaylo, goy v'kol halaylo. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, and that's exactly like what Rav said, and Rav holds like Rabbi Yehuda, but Rabbi Shimon like what it says in our Mishnah, schir shoyis diyoim, goy v'kol hayoim, schir shoyis delaylo, goy v'kol halaylo, v'kol hayoim. Mikan Omru, and from here they said, kol hakoyvesh schir, anyone who doesn't pay his worker, over behei shemois is over on 5 isurim d'oraisa. Alolu that we're going to bring in a second. V'asei, and one asei that he's mevatel a mitzvah asei. And now we're going to explain which ones. Mishum bal tashoik. You're not allowed to be oishek, that means not to pay. Es recho. Mishum bal tigzoil, and we explained in Daf Samech Aleph that it's talking about someone doesn't pay his workers and not gzeila mamish. Mishum bal tashoik, soche oni. Umishum lo yisolim, not to sleep overnight and not pay you a job. Umishum b'yom etitin schoroi, that's a say, they need to pay him on time. Umishum lo yisov ole Hashemesh is another lo yisasei, number 6, or number 5 lo yisasei, 6 in total. So we see there's 5 lo yisasei and 1 asei, and when the person does pay on time, he should be mechaven to mekai the mitzvah of b'yom etitin schoroi. That's a beautiful mitzvah that anyone can understand. The person worked very hard and you're not going to pay him. It makes a lot of sense. Said the Gemara, Ani de'iki b'mama leke b'laylo. De'iki b'laylo leke b'mama. How are you telling me that someone who doesn't pay on time is over 5 lo yisasei and asei? Some of the lo yisasei are talking about people who worked in the day, and some of the lo yisasei are talking about people who worked at night. How could it be that it's talking about all the 5 lavim on one person? Omar Rav Chisda, shame schurs ba'alma. We never meant to say that there's one case that you over all these 5 lavim and the asei. Each case is independent. Some yoiva, some lavim and asay, and some yoiva the other lavim. But it doesn't mean that in one case you're over all of them. But in this parsha of schirus is the 5 lois asay and asay. Said the Gemara, Ezu oishek ve'ezu gezel. What's the difference? It said here loishasoik and gezel. What's the difference between them? Omar Rav Chisda, leich v'shoiv. If a person says, I'll pay you tomorrow, and he's delaying and really has money to pay, that's considered oishek. But if he tells his friend, I owe you, I know I owe you, but I'm not paying you, go jump in the lake. Though gezel, because gezel is a loshon much more kifa, much more strong loshon of like gzela. Mashen oishek is just like playing around. Matkif Rav Sheishes, how can you tell me this is the difference between oishek and gezel? It says, Ezu oishek shechiyah of Torah carbon. What's the type of oishek that the Torah says in Torah Skranim in Vayikra, that it says Bekichesh ba'amitoi bepikodonu b'chemes yad, and it says over there oishek. And what's the case that you chayiv if you're koifer to your friend that you chayiv a carbon on oishek? Do me the pikodon, like pikodon. The kokofa lemimonim mamoina, like pikodon. It's very clear. Someone gave a deposit to his friend to keep for him an item, and then he comes to ask it back, and he says, I don't know what you're talking about. And he says, make me a shvua. And he says, yeah, I'm making a shvua, I don't owe you anything. And then he's moide, he's chayv a korban. So also oishek is a similar thing, that he's koifa. So since we see over there oishek means that he's koifa, how could you tell me that oishek means come back tomorrow? That's not proper kfira, that's delaying it. Elo Rav Sheishes, nosasi lecho, I paid you already the oishek, that he's koifa. If he says, I have in my hands, I owe you, but I'm not paying you, though gezel, that's considered gezel. So gezel's words, like being more of a aggressive, he's saying, I owe you, but I'm not paying you. For both he's koifa. Matkifla Abai doesn't like Rav Shesh's pshat. He asks a kash on it. It says, Ezo gezel shechil of Torah korban, the same psukim that we said before, that says over there that you have a korban if you gozel esamiso. So what type of gezel? Dum yodei pikodin, like pikodin b'inyan, the kokof alei mamoina. That you're koifa like pikodin, you're saying, I don't owe you this pikodin. So also gezel, it means I don't owe you anything. So it can't be pshat like we just said, that gezel means I'm not paying, but I'm admitting that I owe you. No, it means a proper kfira. So Elomar Abaye, Lo Sochartich Moilom, you never done any work for me, I don't owe you anything, therefore, though Oishek. Nosasiv Lecho, if I said I paid you already, though Gezel, so both it's a kfira, but it's a different type of kfira. Said the Gemara, so we had three pshatim. Said the Gemara, Lefi the middle pshat, to Rav Sheshes, that he asks a kash on Rav Chisda. And he says, oh, how could Rav Chisda tell me that's Oishek when he says Lech V'shoy, or it said in the other pasuk in Vayikra that Oishek means Kfira. So Maishno Oishek the Kashile, they asked this Kash on Rav Chisda, Maishno Gezel the Loiko Kashile, why the Kash of Gezel that Abai asks Rav Sheshes, the Gezel also needs a Kfira, why is that not shver for him? Like he asked the Kash on Rav Chisda on Oishek, he could ask himself the same Kash on Gezel, why was there no Kash for him? So the Gemara, he would tell you, Gezel is talking about where he stole. But other kafrid, at the beginning, he said, Gezel, like we said before, they said, I'm not paying. And when he came to Bezdin, he said, no, I paid you already. And he was koifa koil, and then he made the shvur, and that's why he's chayav a korban. So the Gemara, Yochi, if that's pshat about Gezel, afilu oishek nami do other kafrid, why did you have a kash on Rav Chisda? And he said, oh, oishek can't come back tomorrow, because it needs to be kfira. Let's say yes, like Rav Chisda, that means to say, come back tomorrow. And when it comes to Bezdin, he says, oh, I paid you, I don't owe you anything, and he made the shvur. So the Gemara, Ochi no, this is how Rav Sheshes is going to put it. Bishleima hosom. See, by Gezel, it says Oy begezel. It says by the korban, it says Oy begezel. Michlal is mashma. The oidele maker at the beginning he admitted that he owes, and now only Oy begezel. Only now he comes and Bezdin and he says, no, I don't owe you anything. So at the beginning there was Oido, but he said I don't want to pay. And only when he came to Bezdin, that's when it's a proper gzela. Avol gabe Oishek. But in the parasha of Oishek, it says Niksiv Oy Oishek, does it say Oh Oishek? That would be mashma that he at the beginning he admitted and now he's Oishek. No, Oshaksiv, Shoshke Kvar, that the whole time he did the same Maisa. So it must be Oishek that from the beginning there was a Kfira. So until now we had three pshatim in understanding the difference between Oishek and Gezel. Rava comes and says there's no difference. Let's see inside. Rava Amar Zo Oishek, Zo Gezel. There's no difference. Why did it say two things? To give you extra issa if you do it, but really it's the same isa, and if you do it, you're over with two lavim. So now, before we start the next Mishnah, I want to open the Torah and I'm going to read the psukim that are relevant to understand this sugya. So the first pasuk is in Vayikra, Perek Yutes, Pasuk Yud Gimel. It says, Loi tashoik esreecho. Don't be oishek your friend. Loi sigzoi. Don't steal. And we said before, the Loi sigzoi is talking about not paying the work on time. And Loi solim poula sochi itcha poiker. Don't sleep with the workers' wages with you until the morning. And it's all different droshes that we learned from it before. Now the other psukim are in Dvarim Perek of Daled, Pasuk Yudalet. It says over there, Lo isasoik sochi oni ve'evion. Don't not pay a socher who's poor and even more. Everyone is even more poor than a normal poor person. Me'achicha, from your brothers. Oy migercha or gera asher ba'atucha, that's in your land. B'sharecha. B'yoyim titin schorei. Pay him on the day. V'lo yisavoy olav hashemesh. The shkia shouldn't come. Ki oni hu, he's poor. And he's waiting for the wages. Shouldn't daven to Hashem and say, oh, this guy's not paying me what he promised me, and you'll get punished. So now we're going to start with the Mishnah. It says a Mishnah, Echad sochar odom. Until now we learned that if I have a worker and I don't pay him, I'm over issa if I don't pay him on time. So now the Mishnah is bechadish. Echad sochar odom. Doesn't matter if I rented a person, ve'echad sochar be'imo. If I rented an animal from a person, ve'echad sochar kelim. If I rented a kli, a car, a drill. Yesh boy mishum b'yoyim titin schara. If you don't pay on time, you're over the issa, you're over the assay of paying on time. V'yesh boy also the lav mishum lo yisolin pula sochi itchad boika. If you don't pay him until the morning. Amosai, when is this all talking about that you need to, if you don't pay you over the Isurim, bisman shetovoy, if the owner of the keli or the person himself who was the worker says, pay me please. Loi tovoy, if he didn't claim from him the money, eina over alav, he's not over the Isurim. In choretz el chenvoni, the worker needed he owed him money and he needed to do a shop in the shop. So he told the shopkeeper, let him take produce to the amount I owe him, and I'll pay you. Or by money changer. He told the money changer, pay him and I'll pay you back. He's not over the Issa because he took it under his achrais. He gave it to the Chenvoni, and if the Chenvoni never gave him the money, the produce, or the Shulchani never gave him the money, it's not his fault. It says, continue the Mishnah, Sochir Brizmanoi, a worker at the time when he needs to get paid, Nishba v'noitel, he makes a shvur. If the Balabai says I didn't pay, and he says the Balabai says he paid already, and he said he never got paid, he can make a shvur and he gets the wages. And we're going to see that Gemara is going to explain it. Of Azmano, if the time that was past, the time when he needs to get paid, we saw Schir Yoim at night or Schir Lailo at day, he doesn't have he can't make a shvur and take, and the Gemara is going to explain. If there's Eidim that he claimed when it's time to pay him and the person never paid him, even Achras Mano, he could be Nishba Venoitel. Continue the Mishnah. Ger Toishav. A Ger Toishav is a ger who's mekaban on himself Sheva mitzvahs Bnei Noach. Yesh b'y mishum, and he did a job for you. Yesh b'y mishum b'yom etitin schara. You need to pay him on the day. Ve'en b'y mishum lo yisolim pula sochi itchad boika. But the other issa of lo yisolim pula sochi itchad boika is not over. And the Gemara, we're going to see from the Gemara what's the difference. Why is he over this yes and this not? And that's the whole sugya that we're going to learn now. A machloikis, what is surim or yoiva on which person, on kelim, etc. Tell the Gemara, Moni must listen, who is our Mishnah? Loi Tanekama. It's not Tanekama from the Brisa we're going to bring on Amud Beis, the Meochicha. We call this Tanekama the Meochicha, who learns the Joshua from Meochicha, as we're going to see in just a minute. But Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda from the same Brisa. So who is our Mishnah? And we're going to see now the Brisa, and we're going to see why our Mishnah doesn't fit in, not like Tanekama, not like Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda. Tell the Gemara, Mahi, why is this price of the Tanekama, the Mochicha that we're talking about? What are we talking about? Tell the Gemara, the Tanya, Kuf Yudalef on Beis. It said in the Pasuk, Mochicha. This Pasuk is what we read before in Teres Koyani, in Dvarim. So we learn from Mochicha Prat Lacherim, it's coming to exclude the Goy that if you don't pay him on time, you're not over. Gercha is coming to tell you the Ger Tzedek, a proper Ger who's Mekabel himself to be Jewish, like Rus. Vishorecho. The oichel nevelos is even, or Rashi's ger is the ger oichel nevelos, and that means a ger toishav that he eats nevelos because it's not seven mitzvahs bnei noach not to eat nevelos, but he's not proper ger. He's only mekayim himself sheva mitzvahs bnei noach. Ein yelos schar odom. I know very well that if someone did a job for me, I need to pay him. How do I know that the Yisurim apply also for someone who rented me his kelim or his animal? Talmud loymar ba'aratzicho, from your land, kol she'ba'aratzicho, anything that's in your land, and be'ema is kelim is in your land. Says the Brisa v'chulon, doesn't matter ger toishav, doesn't matter be'ema v'kelim. Of a sure person, over all the Yisurim that are mentioned by a worker. Mikan Omru, from here they said, Echot Sochar Odom, doesn't matter if you rented a person, Echot Sochar Beima, if you rented the animal, Echot Sochar Kelim, or you rented a Keli, Yeshbo, Mishum Yoimatis, in Schoroi, the Issa of paying, they need to pay, they say they need to pay him on the day, Yeshbo, Mishum Baltolin Pula Sochir. All the Yisurim, both parishes of Dvarim and Vayikra apply for all these categories. So Tanekama whole doesn't matter, all three categories or all four categories, ger, a normal person, kelim, and a behema, you over all the Isurim. Rabbi Yehuda no. He argues. He says, Ger Toishav yesh bo mishum b'yom titen schorei. The parsha of Dvorim that says b'yom titen schorei applies for Ger Toishav. But en bo mishum lo tolin. But the parsha of Vayikra does not apply for Ger Toishav. Be'ema v'kelim ein boim elo mishum bal tashoik bilvad. Only the one issa bal tashoik of not paying someone that you owe him money, that's the only issa that you over on Be'ema and Kelim. So says the Gemara now, Moni, who is our Mishnah? If it's a Tanakama from the Brisa that says that starts with Meochicho, Kashi Ger Toishav. In our Mishnah it says that Ger Toishav you only over, let's have a look. It says Ger Toishav, Yesh bo mishum yoy betin schoroi, ve'en bo mishum lo yitolim pula socher itcho. And Tanakama said that Ger Toishav you over everything. So it can't be our Mishnah, can't be Tanakama. Rabbi Yosi Kasha Be'ema v'Kelim. In our Mishnah, he said that over on Be'ema v'Kelim, you are over on the Issa. The beginning of the Mishnah said that Be'ema v'Kelim, you're over the Issa. B'yom titin schorei. And Rabbi Yosi Bar Rabbi Yehuda says that Kelim you only over Bal Tashoik, so it doesn't fit in our Mishnah. Omar Rava, Aitana, our Mishnah is Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, is Rabbi Shmuel who holds a different shit like our Mishnah, as we're going to see straight away. Who? The Tana de Rabbi Shmuel, in the Brisa of Rabbi Shmuel, it says, Echot Sochar Odom, Echot Sochar Beima, Echot Sochar Kelim, doesn't matter a person, doesn't matter Beima, doesn't matter Kelim, Yesh Boi Mishum B'yoyim Titin Schore, Mishum Loi Solin. And Ger Toishav, Yesh Boi Mishum B'yoyim Titin Schore, Ve'en Boi Mishum Bal Tolin. So, exactly like our Mishnah, the Beima, Kelim, and Odom, you over everything, and the Ger Toishav, you over only the Isurim of the parsha in Dvorim. So now we have three shittas. Tanakama says you over everything, and then we have Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Shmuel who says depends what you over. So now the Gemara is going to explain from the Psukim all the drashas how each one of these Tanoim learned it from the Torah. So the Gemara, my time did Tanakama. What's pshat in Tanakama? The Meochicho from the Brisa of Ochicho. Gomar schizcher. So Tanakama is very simple. It says in the parsha in Vayikra Socher, it says in the parsha of Dvorim Socher, so all the same din apply for everything. And therefore, everyone is over everything. Rabbi Yehuda, Loi Goma Socher Socher. He doesn't learn the drasha, the Gzeras HaKosov of Socher Socher, so he doesn't compare the Isurim in Vayikra to the Isurim in Dvorim. Tzedek Mor, Neidi Loi Goma Socher Socher, very good. He doesn't darshan Socher Socher. Be'ema v'Kelim, Mishum B'yoyim Titin Schore Nami Nechayev. Why is Be'ema v'Kelim that in Dvorim, that Rabbi Yehuda says that you over in the pasuk of Lo Yisashoik, that's going also on Be'ema v'Kelim. So the next pasuk that says B'yoyim Titin Schore should also apply for Kelim. Very good. You don't learn for Vayikra, but from Dvorim itself, let's put the two psukim together. Says the Gemara, Tony Rab Chanina, Omar Kror, it says in the Pasuk, V'loi Sovoy Olov Hashemesh, Ki Onihu. It says in the Pasuk in Dvorim of B'yoyim Titin Schore. It says that if they shouldn't come the Shkia and you don't pay him, Ki Onihu, because he's a poor man. So we darshan Mishain Boin Le'deanius Vashirus. The whole drasha of paying that day is only to someone who could become rich and could become poor and become rich, because it says he's poor. Yotu be'ema v'kelim, it's coming to exclude an animal and kelim she'enim boim l'danius. That's not possible by them to be poor and not vashurus and not rich. So the Gemara, okay, Tanakamu doesn't learn this. Ahai kionihu my ovidle. He must learn something else from kionihu, because if not, let's learn like Rabbi Yosi Bar Rabbi Yehuda that's coming to exclude kelim. So the Gemara, miboye, that pasuk is telling you, Kionu is coming to tell you, la'akdim oni v'ashir. If you have two workers, one's poor and one's rich, and you have only money to pay one of them, so you should pay the poor one first. That's what Kionu is coming to tell you. Rabbi Yosi Bar Rabbi Yehuda, how does he know that? Ahu, that he learns from Lo Yisastoik, Schar Socher Oni Ve'evyo Nafka, because it says over there, you should not pay the the money that you owe for work of an Oni and an Evyoin. Oni is a poor man and Evyoin is a very poor man, even more than an Oni. So it says over there that it's mashma they. One second. Yeah, so it's telling you over there, first give an Oni and then give an Evyoin, even though the Oni is less poor than an Evyoin. The reason is because he's more embarrassed to ask for his money, but Evyoin is not embarrassed, and therefore he's going to get his payment at the end. The Tanakama chadlakdim Oni la'osher. You need both droshes. One to tell you that you should give an Oni before Osher, v'chadlakdim Oni le'Evyoin, and one drosha to tell you that you should give an Oni before Evyoin. V'tzricha, you need both droshes. Diashmin in Evyoin that you give it Oni before Evyoin, you might have thought Musum Deloy Kosif Lemitve. You know why you should give the Oni before Evyoin? Because Evyoin won't be embarrassed to claim what he deserves. So therefore, with no Choishes, you won't get paid. Aval Osher, but when you have an Oni and an Osher, so Osher the Kosif Lemitve, he's the most embarrassed to claim what he's owed. Emaloi, maybe you should give the Osher before the Oni, because the Oni has more guts than the Osher, so the Oni is going to get paid. So maybe you should pay the Osher first. Mashmalon to tell you that you pay the Ani before the Osher. V'yashmin Osher, and if you tell you that you should pay Ani before Osher, you'd say, oh, you know why you pay the Ani before the Osher? Because the Osher is less needed for the money, but the Ani is more desperate. Aval Evyoin, but if you have an Ani and an Evyoin, and Evyoin's poorer than the Ani, the Tzorchle, that he's even poorer and he needs even more, maybe I should give the poorer one the Evyoin before the Ani. Tzricha, that's the Chiddush to tell you that you need to give the Ani before the Evyoin. Vitoni Didon. Okay, so now we understand Tanakama and Rabbi Yossi Bar Rabbi Yehuda, how they learned where the Isurim apply of Loisolin and Bioimetitin Schore, etc. Tzedek Mor Vitani Didon, our Mishnah, and also Rabbi Tani Bar Rabbi Shmuel, who explained that our Mishnah is Tani Bar Rabbi Shmuel. Manav Shoch. Doesn't make sense. Manav Shoch, however you look at it, if you darshan the drosh of Skir Xershava to tell me that the dinim of Veikra and Dvorim apply at both cases. Afilu ger toishav nami. Why does it say in our Mishnah that ger toishav you only owe the one issa, not the other issa? If he doesn't dash in the drosh of sochir sochir, beima v'kelim inole. So how do we know? Where do we know beima v'kelim from the pasuk in Dvorim? So how do we know the drosha of Vayikra to tell you that Be'ema V'kelim you also over the drosha of Vayikra? He doesn't dash in this Xereshava of Sochi Sochi. V'shayni Osam, and it's different over there about Kelim the Omar Kro. In the pasuk in Vayikra it says V'loisolin pula Sochi itcha ad boika. You shouldn't keep sleep with the payment that you owe the worker until the morning. So we dash in kol shepulo ischo, anything that was with you, even not that he was working for you, even if only his keli was working for you. Said the Gemara Yochi, if we dash in like that, afilu ger toishav nami, we should include the parasha Vayikra ger toishav to tell you that Yechayev the issa of Vayikra that says over there. So why are we saying over there that it doesn't include? We say in our Mishnah that the issa of loisolin is not for ger toishav. So the Gemara no, Omakro re'echo. It says in the pasuk re'echo, your friend re'echo v'lo ger toishav. So the Gemara yochi afilu be'ema v'kelim nami. Be'ema v'kelim is your re'echo. It's not your friend. It's Re'echa means your friend. Be'ema v'kelim is not your friend. So why do you over issa by be'ema v'kelim? So the Gemara no, hoksiv itcha, but it says itcha, and we come in itcha is the rabbis kol ma she'ischa. So the Gemara maris, how we have a drasha to say itcha that's coming to include, and we have a miut re'echa. So the Gemara, what makes you say the rabbis be'ema v'kelim, the itcha is coming to include be'ema and kelim uleitzike toishav, and to be exclude ger v'toishav Gera and Toishav from the pasuk of Re'echa? Let's say the opposite. Re'echa is coming to exclude Be'ema v'kelim, and Itcha is coming to include Ger Toishav. Tzaddik Mar Mistaber. No, do this for Be'ema v'kelim avalei rabbis. Why? Shekin yeshno b'chlal momen Re'echa. Very good, the no Re'echa literally, but the momen Re'echa, the in the parasha. So therefore, even though that is the mute of Re'echa, it's more Mistaber. That's not Memayat Kelim, because Kelim is momen Re'echa. and therefore Itcho is coming to Merabe Kelim, and Recho is excluding Ger Toshel. Ger Toshel ain't no Bechal Moment Recho. Ger Toshel has nothing to do with Recho. So for sure, Recho is coming to Mimayit Ger Toshel, but not Kelim. So now we understand our Mishnah and Tonu de Rabbi Shmuel. Said the Gemara, "V'tanit kama de meochicho." Tanit kama from the brisa at the top of the page. Ay Recho my of delay. Well, they're gonna darshan from Recho. Why are they coming to exclude? So said the Gemara, "Aumi boile." It's coming to tell you the Tanya. What we learned in the brisa, Recho v'lo amoleiki. The amoleiki, you don't have to pay him his wages on time. Said the Gemara, amoleiki. We could learn already that from what it says Ochicho in the pasuk of Dvarim, and Tanakama learns that Dvarim and Vayikra are the same. Amaleki is not for sure no Achicho. So the Gemara, no. Chadle Mishra Oishko, one is coming to tell you that you're allowed not to pay him on time. You don't need to pay him. The Chadle Mishra Gzelo, that you're actually allowed to steal from him, from Amaleki. And you need both. If we would say that you're allowed to steal from him, because maybe he got to be Yerusha, maybe he found it, I don't know, maybe you're on the lottery, so I'm not for sure that he worked very hard to get this item, so maybe that's why you're allowed to steal it. But not to pay him his wages. The Torah Gabeid, I know he worked by me all day, he sweated like mad, he worked in the heat. Hey, Maloi, maybe I need to pay him. So that's why we need to tell you Oshkoi, that about they don't need to pay him his wages. If he would tell you they don't need to pay him his wages, because it's not losing, he never came to his hand that we're stealing from him, it's just not paying him what you owe him. But stealing the Osaliyote to actually take away from his possession, maybe it's forbidden. That's why we need, and the Kama needs 2 times to tell you that Amalek, also you're allowed to steal from him, and also you don't need to pay his wages. Said the Gemara, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, I lo solin pula sochi itchad boika my obidlei. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, who doesn't darshan sochi, I lo solin pula sochi itchad boika my obidlei. So our Tana said that from there we learn that from lo solin pula sochi itchad boika, we learn that Itchol the afilu beima bekelim. But Rabbi Yehuda doesn't learn beima bekelim. So what does he darshan from it? So the more mi boile lekeravasi, domar avasi afilu lo sochroi. Even if he was only working for him, elo liftzoi lo eshkol echot shelanovim, only to cut one bundle of grapes, one eshkol. Over mishum baltolin, and you don't pay him, you over mishum baltolin. That's a chiddush of Itcho to tell you even a little job. The idoch and our Mishnah Tana de Rabbi Shmuel who hold that we need Itcho to tell you something else. Well, how will he know the thing that even if you did a very small job? So the Gemara the Eilo v'noisesa is nafshay nafka from that pasuk. It says in Dvarim that you should pay him because his nefesh is waiting for that payment. Dova moise nafshel of anything that he was meshabed himself, and if he was meshabed himself from one little job, you still have to pay him on time. So the Gemara Kufyud Beis Hamud Aleph vehidoch and Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda Aumi Boile. You need that to tell you a different rosh like the Tanya, like we learned in the Brisa. The Eilo v'noises nafshoy. It comes to tell you, why did this worker climb up on the ladder? And he climbed on the tree. If you'd fall off the olive tree, he could have break his head and die. He was moise nafshay. What was that for? For sure for his work, so you should pay him. That's why it's very important to pay him on time. Different pshat in the Brisa of the Elov who knows his nafshay. Anyone who doesn't pay his work on time, it's as if he takes his nefesh away from him, and we're going to see who's nefesh in a second, but it's as if you're stealing a nefesh. Rav Huna Rav Chiz, the argue what means nafshoy. Chadom a nafshoy shel gazlen. It means that the one who doesn't pay, his nefesh is going to be taken away from him and he's going to die. The chadom a nafshoy shel migzal. It means that it's as if you took away the nefesh of the one you never paid on time to. Mandam or nafshoy shel gazlen, the one who says that nafshoy shel gazlen means that Hashem will punish the gazlan to get killed. Don't steal from a poor man kidalu because he's poor. And don't oppress a poor man on the gate. Viksiv, and it said in the other pasuk, both psukim in Mishlei Chof Beis, one is pasuk Chof Beis, one is Chof Gimel. Viksiv in the next pasuk, Hashem Yorev Rivom, the Kova is Koiveim Nefesh. Hashem will fight the fight of a poor man, and he'll take away the nefesh of the ganev. So we could see nafshoy shel gazlan. Uman da'amon nafshoy shel nigzal dichsiv, because it says, ken orchos kol boitzea betza. This is the way of anyone who does bad things, who's a gazlan. Es nefesh ba'olov ikoch, he's taking away the nefesh of the bailim. By that he's stealing from your money, that he's doing betza, it's as if he's taking away his nefesh. So we could see nafshoy shel nigzal. Said the Gemara, behidoch, the one who says nafshoy shel gazlan, nami aksiv l'chora, it said the pasuk that we just said, es nefesh ba'alov ikach. So the Gemara, ba'alov dashto, it means ba'alov, if nefesh ba'alov ikach, it means ba'alov dashto. Who's a ba'alov now? The one who stole. He's the gazlan. He's now the bailim of this item. It's in his hands what he stole. So he's taking away his own nefesh. Ba'alov of now who stole, he's taking away the nefesh of the gazlan. The one who says nefesh and nigzal nami aksiv kova is koiveim nefesh, that Hashem is going to take away the nefesh of a gazlan. So the Gemara, my tam koma, it's an explanation. My tam kova is koiveim. Why will Hashem punish the koiveim? Mishum de not to nefesh, because it took away the nefesh of the nigzal. But it doesn't mean that Hashem is going to take away the nefesh of the gazlan. All it means is, why will Hashem punish them? Because as if they took away the nefesh of the nigzal. Be'ezus Hashem, make a prayer that we should be all zoichet to pay all our workers on time, and mekayim b'yoyim etit in schora, and we shouldn't be over any of the isurim of loisolin, all the 5 isurim. We should never be over them, and we should mekayim it, and we should always pay largely, generously to our workers, and be happy, and mekayim kol haTorah kula, and remember these gemaras and do chazor on them. Shkoyach.